Hey, so what's up? Welcome to Nick's first annual Ramble of the Day. So this is, I'm envisioning it, I don't know if it's going to be a segment that lasts forever, but it's basically just a few minutes of me rambling or talking about something that I think is kind of interesting or relevant or informational. And so today I got a couple things. My mind, I feel like, is divided into two Nicks. One Nick is really good at the game, super hyper aware of all the little micro mistakes that he makes, and that Nick is also really hungry to make super good plays, you know, and really enjoys making good plays. And I feel like the other Nick is more passive, more lethargic, and confused when he loses. Confused because he thinks he's playing well and doesn't really actually have the perspective to realize that he's not playing well. So it's really important to not copium. Never copium. Never try and blame anybody else but yourself. If you're hard stuck at a rank, it is you. And you need to find those mistakes that you're doing wrong and weed them out. And unfortunately in Overwatch, you don't always get rewarded for doing the right things. It's one of the most annoying things about this game. You can go 40 and 10 or something and lose the game. That doesn't usually happen, but sometimes it does happen. And that certainly bothers me. But it's really important to understand that even when you're making the right plays, you'll still lose. So you can't take it personally. Like, even when you're playing your absolute best, your win rate might be 60%, 65%, it might be 55%. And as long as you're playing consistently and trying to push yourself to be a little bit better, you're gonna climb. But, so, I'm talking about this mindset shift that I made, and what is it? It's basically, instead of queuing up to win each game, I'm still trying to win the game, obviously, but I'm queuing up to break my record on different stats that I have. If you don't know, you can check your stats after the game as you click through the screen. You should probably know that by now if you played the game. And you can also check your stats by looking at your games and your game history. And so I was checking out my stats for this one game. So I'm a Sigma player. I play a lot of Sigma. And I got like 76 direct primary fire hits and 15 rock hits. And then I was thinking, okay, that's cool. It shows you your stats at the end of every game. And it shows you if you've beaten your record and stuff. Then I went into my next games thinking, okay, yeah, I'm trying to win this game, but I'm trying to break my stats. I'm trying to get more direct hits, more rock hits, more flux kills. I'm trying to block more damage, have fewer deaths, all of that. I kept these goals in mind as I went into the next game. And the next game was tough. It was a loss. It doesn't matter so much to lose when your goal is not only to win, but just to kind of compete against yourself. In the same way that like a runner competes to get a faster time. Yeah, they compete against the other people at the track meet or whatever, but it's mostly about getting personal bests. I got like 74 direct hits, 13 rock hits. But the thing is, like looking back on those stats were really similar to the stats that I had in the game that I had won in that first game that I played. Really similar amount of primary fire hits, really similar amount of rock hits. I'm not gonna tie my ego up in every single game. I'm connecting my ego instead to hitting those marks every game. You know, if it's a loss, did I at least perform well? And a quick note about that game, I did not perform that well. In terms of hitting my shots, my stats, I performed pretty decent. And I'm happy with that. But there were a couple of times where I gave Doom Empowered Punch, and then he came and killed my whole team just because I hit him when he was using his power block. And there were some other times where I overextended or just made dumb plays. And so I just want to be accountable for that. Like, I was not perfect in that game, by any means. But there were a couple of times where I made really great plays, and I think it kind of balances out. And that's why I'm generally kind of happy with that game. And the stats reflect that. Good stats, even though I made some dumb mistakes. So, after that tough loss, I didn't beat myself up. And I went into this next game hungry again, trying to get more direct hits and stuff. And I broke my record by a lot. I got 144 rock hits, or no, 144 direct hits, 29 accretion hits, 25,000 damage. I stomped that game. I absolutely destroyed that game. And I wasn't worried about, like, absolutely making the right plays or this and that. I was just in the zone trying to farm up my stats. And of course, you can't just farm up your stats. You have to do everything else that it requires to be a tank. But I've found that it's a lot easier to do that when you are hitting your shots. Like, you just have a little bit of leeway. You can take a dumb flank if you're hitting your shots. You can whiff your ultimate if you're hitting your shots. You can push aggressively if you're hitting your shots. You know, you can play into some counter heroes if you're hitting your shots. So that got me started on a big win streak. And yes, these are placements, and it's the new season reset. So apparently your rank is, being calibrated again. But I went like, I think I got like 15 wins in a day and like 2 draws, 2 losses. And I felt different. I felt like I was hitting things that I hadn't hit in a long time. I just felt different. And so it took me back to this attitude that I originally had when I first climbed up to Masters, where winning is not the end game. Winning is the end game, but the end game is getting better. The end game is hitting more abilities, dealing more damage, getting more kills by yourself, being that impact on the team. And that's just an important thing to do. Another thing that this confidence has brought me is it's gotten me this don't give up mindset, because even if I'm in a crummy situation, like we're down, we've been stomped in the first round and then stomped in the second round, where my morale's taking a hit, I'm still there to farm up stats. I'm still there to push myself to do my best. And that has resulted in wins and draws that would have been losses. Turning a loss into a draw, it's like a win in its own way. Turning losses into draws, or turning a loss around and turning it into a win, is one of the best feelings that this game is going to get you. But you have to have this tenacious mindset where you're not slipping, you're not playing worse, you're not getting tilted. A perfect example of that was this Shambali game. We got full held on the first point, and then going to the second round, we had to full hold them, and we did. And it wasn't even all that difficult. Like, they just kind of played right into us. And when lots of people, when they get full held, they just give up. They're mentally just broken. But by switching my mindset, instead of like just playing where I have to win, I'm playing for stats. I'm playing to get better every game, to cream every game. I'm playing to make big plays every game. I don't care if I win. I do care if I win, obviously, but I more care about, am I hitting like big 5-man fluxes and shit like that? Am I hitting my shots? Am I a threat to be reckoned with?
What is it? Getting drowsy.
another game. It was on New Junk City, one of these 5 control point maps. I was feeling annoyed because we got kind of stomped to the first round. There was nothing there. Well, there's always stuff you can do, but it didn't feel like there was something I could do there. And moving to the second round, you know, I kept my cool. We won that one. Moving to the third round, we lost that one, and I was definitely getting pissed off. But I kept playing. And in that situation, you feel that rise anxiety because it feels like you're about to lose. And you almost feel despair. And it's important to work through that. And to keep trying to play your best. And don't make reckless plays in that situation. So I ended up making some really good plays and winning us that. We lost the third round, and then we went to the fourth round. That's where I'm feeling a little bit of the despair, a little bit of like, oh come on team, why can't you just help me here? Blah blah blah. I'm so unlucky. Blah blah blah. And there was. What it was there was this fucking Cassidy, I was playing Reinhardt, who kept hitting me with the Fan the Hammer, which is basically, it's a little bit overtuned, but it's basically like a shotgun, and it shreds shields, it shreds Reinhardt. So I felt like I was getting pressured in a way that their Reinhardt wasn't getting pressured. And it was a little bit tilting just to have this Cassidy just only walk up and Fan the Hammer you over and over again. But I managed to keep it together, and we won that fourth round because of me, pretty much. I almost died to this goddamn Cassidy running in my face and Fan the Hammering in my face. You know it. You've seen it before. The Cassidy will fucking Fan the Hammer you and roll right at you, and then Fan the Hammer you again. And I shattered him right in his fucking face. I was down to like 100 health. But it was a big personal win for me. And it was also what won us the round, in my opinion. So, then we moved to the fifth round, sorry. And the fifth round just came like butter. It was easy. As hard as the first round was, the fifth round was super easy. And it wasn't even that close. And the point I'm trying to make here is that you can win a lot of these games just by keeping a cool head and continuing to make really good decisions. Continuing to play your best. And it can be really rough. I'm not going to deny it. That is part of the reason Tank sucks. Part of the reason Overwatch kind of sucks. Anyway, I'm going to cut that here. See you in the next one.